following you all the days of your life. It would have been for my glory, for the Lord's glory. And he said, but because you chose not to do that, you made a wrong turn, see. He didn't say it that way, but he said basically what happened was recalculating. And the Lord spoke to me. He said, I honored you as much as I could within the scope of your choice. You were promoted much faster than you were supposed to be promoted. In less than 13 months, I was E5. I went from E1 to E2 to E3 to E4 to E5. In order to go to E6, I would have had to re-enlist. I got medals. And the Lord said, within the scope of your choice, I honored you as much as I could, but my plan was for you to be a captain. He said, I even had to make a job for you because you got out of the service 1 year too early. And it was true. I had to teach under an emergency certificate at Millville. One person had to resign and 2 women had to get pregnant to get me into a history position. And God said, I had to make a place for you. But you see, He never gave up on me because I didn't choose right. He just said, recalculating. Recalculating. I'd always said, I'll never live east of the Mississippi. Recalculating. I'll never be a preacher. Claire Gardner came up to me in church when I was a junior in high school. She said, Woodson, I've been praying that you'll be a preacher. I said, I'll never be a preacher, sir. You can pray as long as you want. Recalculating. You know? He didn't give up on this silly guy. I was talking with the kids on Friday in chapel. I said, you realize how many times Jesus saved my life? I mean, saved my life. How many times I woke up heading for a concrete bridge, railroad abutment, going home from college because I stayed home too long, went to sleep at the wheel. Saved my life in Vietnam. We were coming back on Interstate 70. Shirley and Dale was little, and Shirley's mom, they were in the back of Mr. Bennett's pickup. We had a mattress there, and I'm driving along, went to sleep. Went to sleep driving. And I'm going off the road. I didn't know I was going off the road. I was asleep. And all of a sudden, something touched me on the temple, this temple, right here. It just, electricity shot through me. I woke up. I'm going off the road. Get the truck back onto the road. Going up to the next rest stop, stopped and got myself together. We'd all been dead. Recalculating, bad choice. You know? Now, these are His plans for you. Now, I got lots of scriptures here that we're not going to have time. Think about the prodigal son. He made a bad choice. He made a bad choice because and we know he made a bad choice because he wound up in a pig pen. Now, if you haven't been around a lot of pigs, you just haven't been blessed in your life. My dad loved pigs. And he used to always have them. And it was my job to slop them, and my job to water them, and my job to walk through the pig feces. And there's nothing smells as bad as pig feces. It's awful because pigs are unclean. And so here's this nice little Jew boy wallowing in the pig feces, so hungry that the slop that the pigs are getting fed look good to him. And finally he says, I have made a wrong turn. And the Spirit of God says, recalculating. He said, I think what I will do is arise and go home and just tell my dad I'm unworthy. I'll never amount to anything anymore. I'm done. But just let me be a servant. Because even the servants in your house get treated better than what I'm getting treated now. So he goes home, and here's Dad, who's just been sitting out there just waiting for his son to come home so he can nail him right between the eyes with a fist. No, the father's heart was always there to love. Father never stopped loving him. Never. And he saw him coming. He jumps up off the porch. He was sitting there in his rocking chair, you know. I'm sure they had rocking chairs in those days. He saw him coming. He runs down the road. He grabs his stinky, smelly son, smelling the pig feces. And he says, welcome home. And he says to the servants, I want you to get him clean clothes. I want you to get him some new shoes. I want you to give him a ring, authority. God didn't strip his authority from him. I mean, his dad didn't strip his authority. He said, get him the ring, get him the family crest, get him his ring. Because he's got authority here. Right? Now, the elder brother, he heard all this, said, kill the fatted calf, we're going to have a party. Elder brother comes in and says, hey, what's going on here? I'm really upset over this. See, now, look. When I was in school, I always did my homework. Sometimes I have to stay up 10, 11 o'clock at night, but I get my homework done. And then we come to school the next day because the teacher says it's going to be due tomorrow. We walk in there, and here'd be somebody like Jackie Wilcox who would come up with some lame thing like, well, you know, the old cow was calving last night, and we were up, and I didn't have a chance to get my homework done. And Mr. Bryan, could we have an extension? Could we have a day extension? Mr. Bryan would say, well, Jackie, I'm sorry about that cow. Yeah, we can all hand our work in tomorrow. I would go ballistic inside. I just wanted to stand up and scream and say, no! I stayed up till 11 o'clock doing my work. Jackie Wilcox can do his work. No breaks.